going back, ang Fleming's left-hand rule is usually applicable. Left-hand rule is usually applicable for generators. Or I mean, motors. And ang right hand for generators. Bakit? Fleming's right hand rule. Yung ginamit natin kanina is right hand rule. Ay for generators. Kasi ito, is magagamit natin to find the direction of induced current. Meanwhile, for motors naman, yun ang direction of force. So the answer to this question is letter C. So Fleming's left-hand rule helps to find the direction of the force on a current-carrying capacitive conductor in a magnetic field. So kasi sa motors, recall natin, when we say motor, from electric power or electrical energy, gagawin natin mechanical. Meanwhile, sa generator naman, from mechanical, electricity. Baliktad. Ang Fleming's left-hand rule, so kung gagamitin nyo yung left hand nyo, using uli yung wrap ng fingers para ma-determine yung ikot ng magnetic field lines, ang makukuha nyo is direction of force. For right hand naman, ang makukuha natin is direction of current. For number 8, which device converts mechanical energy into electrical energy by electromagnetic induction? A. Transformer, B. Generator, C. Motor, D. Resistor. So, kakabanggit lang natin from mechanical into electrical, yan ay isang generator. Pag motor kasi, from electrical to mechanical. When we say transformer naman, ginagamit to para taasan or babaan yung voltage. Increase or decrease voltage. Makikita nyo yan sa mga kable ng kuryente. Kasi syempre, yung itatap na kuryente sa bahay is hindi naman same na voltahe ng mga pinapadaan sa kuryente sa kable. Kasi mas mataas yung galing doon. So pag nilagay mo sa bahay yan, para pag tinap mo yung kuryente sa bahay, kailangan mong babaan muna yung voltahe using a transformer. And resistor naman, nag-add lang siya ng resistance sa circuit. So for resistance lang. Dahil if nakakita na kayo ng resistor, usually ginagamit yan sa mga experiments for students. Yun yung commonly dyan natin nakikita yan. And kapag trinay nyong magsalpak ng mga LED na ilaw directly sa power, ang mangyayari is, if hindi niya kaya i-handle yun, pumuputok, kasi literal nasasabog sila. Hindi naman nasasabog. Pero makikita mo sa loob na puputok siya ng mahina and minsan tumutunog pa. So, kaya nalagyan natin ng resistor para bumaba yung power na pagdaloy. Kasi yung power is inversely proportional sa resistance. So, yun yung parang concept behind sa kanya. So, next, question 9. According to Coulomb's law, the electric force between two charges is A. Directly proportional to the distance between the charges. B. Inversely proportional to the distance between the charges. C. Directly proportional to the square of the distance between the charges. And D. Inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the charges. Kung i-recall natin kanina, sabi natin, electric force according sa Coulomb's law is proportional to the product of two charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So, galing dito, kuha natin letter. Inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the charges. So, meaning, kung yung distance natin is dumoble, yung force na, electric force natin is magiging divided by 4, kasi 2 squared. If magiging triple yung distance between sa two charges natin, ang electric force na lang natin is madidivide sa 9. So, ayun yung relationship. So, for last question natin sa mga concept part, after decades of studies of electrical properties of matter, it was found out that a fundamental charge in nature occur in integer multiples of the elementary charge E. So, when we say elementary charge, E yan yung charge equivalent siya sa charge ng isang proton. And yung negative naman niya, negative niyan, yung charge of electron. So, since hindi mo naman na mabibreak down yung proton, hindi ka naman pwedeng kumuha ng kalahating charge ng proton, masasabi natin na lahat sila, or any charge in nature is a integer multiple. So, let's say we have a alpha particle. So, ang alpha particle is dalawang proton and dalawang neutron. So, ang neutron is wala namang charge. So, masabi natin yung charge nito is positive E or dalawang charge ng proton. And kung meron naman tayong, let's say, tatlong electron dyan na ikot, ang total charge nila ay negative 3E. So, hindi ka pwede makakuha ng kalahati niya. Laging integer multiple. And ang value niyan is 1.6 times 10 raised to negative 2. So, yun ang charge ng isang proton. And negative 1.6 times 10 raised to negative 19 naman ang charge ng isang electron. Yan. So, for part 2 naman, meron tayo dito problem regarding Ohm's law. So, 2-point charges, positive 3 microcoulomb when you see itong gantong symbol. Pag ganun, parang U na merong linya pa sa unahan. Ang basa dyan is micro or times 10 raised to negative 6. Baka pag milli times 10 raised to negative 3, ang micro naman times 10 raised to negative 6. So, 2-point charges, isa is positive 3 microcoulomb and yung isa is negative 2 microcoulomb. They are placed 0.5 meters apart. Calculate the magnitude of electric force. So, sabi sa Coulomb's law, ang electric force is proportional sa Q1 Q R squared. So, pag ginawa natin siya equation, F is equal to, meron pa tayo, K lagi dyan, proportionality constant. And sa case ng Coulomb's law, ang value ng K is 9 times 10 raised to 9. Okay, and ang gagamitin natin units, so i-balance lang natin to. So siya ay Newton meter squared per Coulomb squared. So ang trabaho lang rin naman kasi niya is i-correct yung value plus ayusin din yung units. So ang lalabas na unit sa atin is maging newtons na. Okay. So ang K natin 9 times 10 raised to 9. And pag sinabing magnitude, hindi natin absolute value nito. So, hindi natin papansin itong negative. So, Newton meter squared times Q1 is 3 times 10 raised to negative 6 Coulomb times 2. Alisin natin yung negative kasi absolute value. Times 10 raised to negative 6 Coulomb over 0.5 meters squared. Yan. Meron tayo 9 times 3 times 2. Yun ay 54. Times 10 raised to 9 minus 6 minus 6, negative 3. Okay. And over 0.25. And yung units naman, cancel meter squared, cancel dalawang box. So, ano na lang to? So, ang 0.25 is parang nag-times 4 tayo dito. So, 54 times 4 is 216 times 10 raised to negative 3 tons or 0.216 tons. So, magnitude lang yan. Hindi natin papansinin muna yung sign niya. Okay? Pero ang sign niya is, ang direction niya, since magkaiba yung charge niya, alam natin na attractive sila sa isa't isa. Yung force na nakuha natin is towards sa isa't isa. So next, how many electrons are required to have a charge of -1? So, para malaman yung number ng electrons, kunin natin yung number ng electrons, kunin natin yung charge over charge per electron. So, yung charge natin is -1 coulomb, and per electron, meron tayong yung charge natin kanina, -1.6 times 10 raised to -1. Yeah, so, dividing, makakancel naman na to. So, positive siya. And itong 10 raised to -19, pwede natin i-akap. So, ito na lang, 1 divided by 1.6. 1.625. So, 1 point, or 0.625. 0.625. So, cancel yung coulombs. So, ito, number na lang ng electrons. Or, 6.25 times 10 raised to 18 electrons. So, marami talaga. Sobrang daming electrons yung kailangan natin para sa isang -1 charge. Kasi ang isang charge, pansin nyo, raised to -19, sobrang liit lang rin talaga ng value ng isang electron or ng charge ng isang electron. Kaya, lagi tayong scientific notation kapag nag-deal tayo ng number of electrons. Okay. For question 3, a metal sphere has a charge of positive 8 microcoulomb. What is the net charge after 6 times 10 raised to 13 electrons have been placed on it? So, ang net charge naman is summation lang ng charges. So, yung net charge is Q net is yung summation ng charges na meron tayo. So, meron tayong initial charge ng sphere, microcoulomb, plus itong number ng electrons. So, meron tayo 6 times 10 raised to 13 times bawat isang electron, again, merong -1.6 times 10 raised to -19 coulombs. Simplify natin to. 8 microcoulomb plus 6 times 1.6, yun ay 9.6, negative, so -9.6 times 10, -19 plus 13 is -6 coulomb. And ito, pwede natin isulat na -9.6 microcoulomb kasi raised to 6. So, ang net charge natin is 8 minus 9.6, -1.6 micro. Okay. Next problem, an alpha particle. Gaya nung nabanggit natin, ang alpha particle is dalawang neutron, dalawang proton. So, an alpha particle with charge of positive 2e is sent at high speed towards a gold nucleus with charge 79e. Positive din, so alam natin na yung electric force na nag-generate niyang dalawang yan is opposing or repelling. So what is the electric force acting on alpha particle? It is 2 times 10 raised to -14 meters from the gold nucleus. So again, yan ay application lang uli ng Coulomb's law. So F is equal to K Q1 Q2 over R squared. So ang value ng K natin is 9 times 10 raised to 9. 9 times 10 raised to 9 meter squared per coulomb squared. Q1 natin is 2e or 2 times 1.6 times 10 raised to -19 coulomb times 79e. So 79 times ito ulit 1.6 times 10 raised to -19 over, ano po tayo dyan, 2 times 10 raised to negative 14 meters and kalimutan yung square. So, units, tugma na, simplify na lang natin. Dito meron tayo yung mga full numbers muna. Meron tayong 9 times 2 times 79 times dalawang 1.6 79 times 1.6 squared. Tapos i-divide pa natin. Actually, pwede natin ito gawing 4 times 10 raised to negative 28. So, makakancel na ito. So, 9 times 79 times 1.6 squared divided by 910. Then, ito ay sinalang natin itong mga exponents natin. So, meron tayong 10 raised to 9, then minus 19, minus 19, then nasa ilalim to. So, pag inangat natin, may positive yan. So, 9 plus 28 minus dalawang 19. Karoon tayo ng 9 and times 10 raised to negative 1 newtons ang units natin. Or simply 91. Let's sagot natin dyan. So, last question natin sa problem solving. If a coil with 100 turns experience a change in magnetic flux of 0.05 Weber, ang unit ng magnetic flux is Weber, in 0.02 seconds. What is the induced EMF of the coil? So, since hindi naman na pinapansin yung direction, magnitude lang naman tinatanong, mag-Faraday's law. Hindi natin kailangan yung concept ni Lenz. Faraday's law, sabi, ang EMF daw is equal to number ng turns times change in magnetic flux over change in time. So, meron tayong 100 times 0.05 Weber over 0.02 seconds. And ang lalabas na dyan is naka-volts dahil EMF yan, electromagnetic force. So, 100 times 0.05 is 5, or pwede nang 100 times 5 over 2 na lang. So, 150 volts. Yeah. So, ito yung magnitude ng EMF. Magnitude of EMF. So, if meron pa kayong question, if meron gustong clarification, feel free to message me or si Sir Rolik ninyo. And, ayan, that's will be all for today sa lesson natin ng electromagnetism. So, nalalapit na yung OPCAT, so I am hoping and manifesting for everyone na mag-take and hoping for the best. Okay.